Yeah. Hi, good morning. Am I audible?
Morning, ma'am.
Yeah, good morning. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So, yesterday we discussed chill the JSON, right? Okay. So, any issue with the JSON? How to, declare the JSON object, how to declare the JSON array, how to declare the, object inside the object, how to declare the array inside the object or object inside the array. So, and how to access the data. Any issues or clear? Hmm. You can make use of a chat. Okay, if you can't unmute yourself and speak, you can make use of a chat. Any issues, guys? No, right? Hmm. Okay, okay. So now, so before jumping into the Postman tool, okay. So before jumping into the Postman tool, learn something about HTTP response status code. Okay, so whenever we are working with any of the APIs, we will be getting a response code. Okay, so that is nothing but status code. So this status code is very much important to understand the functionality of the service. Okay, so if it is between this range, okay, this is providing this information about the service. If it is this range, it is providing some information about the service. Okay, so like this, by looking into the status code, we will be you know understanding that what service is providing us the response. Okay, so for example, so if you are getting the status code within this 100 to 199 series, what does it mean? Okay, so if you can see here, so information responses. Okay, so it is providing us 100 means yes, continue. Okay, 101 means switching the protocol, and 102 means processing, and 103 means early hint. Okay, so on, it is providing like this info about the by looking into the status code. Okay, so if you come here for the successful response, see if you're getting a 200 means okay. I mean to say, usually for the get request, we get a 200. Okay, and usually for the get and put, we will get a 200. Okay, it's a very rare case that if the developers has defined for the creation of the data also 200 means by the time also we'll get a 200. But most of the time for the creation we will give a 201. After successful creation, success status code, we will keep it as a 201. Okay, so by looking into the status code only, sometimes we get to know what happened with the service. Okay, so for example, we are creating a data, we're expecting a status code to be 201, but if it is coming 401 means, so that is a different case. Maybe 400 series is nothing but see your client error response. Okay, so if it is a 400 series, it is always with a client error response. If it is a 500 series, it's a server error response. If it is a 300 series, it's a redirection message. If it is a 200 series, successful response. If it is a 100 series, it's a informational response. Okay, so if you're attending the API testing interview, the status code info is very important. Okay, so just go through this and just have a idea of it. Okay, so the everyone will ask you about the status code. Okay, what is 200 series mean, what is 300 series mean, what is 400 series mean, and what is 100 series mean, what is 500 series mean. So like this they will just ask you the question. Okay, so now go down. So 201 means successfully created. Okay, so 202 means accepted. Okay, so so on. Okay, if it is a 204 means no content available. After deleting the service, you will get a 204 only, because no content available. Whatever the resources you are trying to get the info about the resources, in that resource no content is available. Okay, so on. Okay, we have a mini status code, uh, in the 200 series also. Okay, so all these things. Okay, client error means something we are doing mistake from our end. Okay, with respect to URL, or with respect to the data that we are sending, the format of the data. Okay, so on, something we are doing some mistake from our end. 401 means unauthorized. Okay, each and every services has to be authorized with the authentication. Okay, so with respect to that, maybe access token has expired, maybe client ID has expired, maybe client secret has expired. There may be a multiple reason to fail the service. Okay, so once we get the status code, we will understand that okay, this is a 401 means okay, I had to work with respect to authorization. Okay, we have to go there and we have to debug it, why it is failing, and we have to provide a new access token. Okay, so this and all will be working while we are working with the APIs. So then we will discuss on these things. Okay, so we have a many status codes. Just go through the document once. Okay, so knowing about the status code is important before jumping into the API testing. Okay, yeah. So now I think we have installed Postman, right? So we have installed Postman in the previous session. Okay, so just launch the Postman. Launch the Postman. Okay, okay. Click on Home. Click on Home. Okay. So here, it will redirect you to your profile. Okay, and also it is showing us the recently visited workspace. Maybe in your case it is not showing anything here. Okay, fine. So then what are the options we have? If you click on this menu button, if you click on the menu button, we have a file, we have a edit, we have a view, we have a help. Okay, so go to the file. Okay, so we have so many options. What is those options? New, new tab, new runner tab, new postman window, import, setting, close window, close tab, force close tab, so on and exist. Click on a new. Okay, click on new tab once. Wait, nothing is happening. 1 second. One second, guys. The multiple windows opened in mine. Okay. 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 So maybe yeah. Okay. So click on the home. So we are right now. I'm in a home only. I'm in a front page home only. Okay. But it should work. Okay. So click on view and sign in. Here it is asking you to provide the username and password. Okay, It is asking you to provide the username and password. If you are not done means just provide the username and password and click on sign in, or you can continue with Google. Now tell me in this how they have used. We have already discussed this part, right? Okay. What they are using, how they are using. Hmm. If you see this, login screen, what do you guys think of it? How they have implemented? Hmm. Quick.
Uh, Username, password, and someday how many day and sign
Okay.
in.
Okay. Okay. Apart from that, yes, username and password is there. That is fine. And apart from that, we have discussed in the demo, right? What they're consuming, what they're calling in order to authenticate for their application. In order to authenticate, for example, they don't want to, again here provided a username and password and to perform all the things. So what they can do in this case, they can make use of a Google API, right? So here what they're doing, so if you can see here, so instead of providing username password here, okay, and clicking on the sign in, so they are consuming Google API here. Okay, this we have discussed it, right? So whenever we have a login screen, okay, instead of providing a username and password and then clicking on sign in to authenticate ourselves, okay, we can also consume Google API. Not only Google API, whatever the application they prefer. So here they are consuming a Google API to provide the authentication. So how the postman thinks is, see, if they already have an account in a Google means, obviously this Google people will also done some check for the particular user. Okay, so why again to authenticate here? So anyway, he is authenticated user only if he is using a Google account. So let's take him, let's allow him to directly make use of the account. So sign in with Google means within a single click, it will, you will log in into the application. Okay, so this is how it works here. Okay, so you are, understanding, right? How they are calling a API here, Google API they are calling here to authenticate it. Okay, so this is what I asked. This is, I think we are discussed in the demo. Okay, how multiple application interact with a multiple other another application, how they will consume their API in order to authenticate. Okay, so here it's a time, that they don't want to waste the time, they want to consume the time. Okay, so what they will do, why to authenticate and to spend a time here? If he is already using a Google, if he is already authenticated user, let him to sign in directly. Why to waste in authenticating particular user is if he's already authenticated by the Google. Okay, so they they assume that obviously Google means they will not allow without authenticated user. So they have authenticated means let's allow him to directly log in into the application. Okay. Okay, so this is how API works. Here also it's they're calling a Google API. Okay, so go to the home workspace. So you go to the home page. So here you have a multiple option: workspaces, API network, and explore. And here we have a setting, and here we have a manage account, so on. Okay. So what is this workspace? Okay. So in real time. Okay. Inside the organization where we sit and work, we also call it as a workspace, right? So we usually say to the colleagues and all, right? Yeah, I'm in my workspace. I'm sitting in my workspace. Okay. So what this mean? So workspace means the space where you want to work. Okay. The space where you are working. Okay, see, if you can see here, I have a many workspace here. I have a list of workspace here. My workspace, it's my personal workspace. API workspace 7 a.m. REST API batch 7 a.m. REST API testing 6 a.m. REST assured 8 a.m. batch. Okay, so we have a list of workspace here. Means, for the 7 a.m. student, this is the place where I'm working. For the 7 a.m., another 7 a.m. student, this is the space where I'm working. For the 6 a.m., this is the space where I'm working. Okay, so similarly, I will create one more workspace for you guys. Okay, so for you, from Monday onwards, whatever I'm working should be available in that particular workspace. That workspace meant for you, your batch. Okay, so it's basically like maintaining the project. Okay, maybe I'm working in a two API testing project. The both project is I'm handling the multiple project. Okay, so I don't want to keep it inside the single workspace, the both the project. So what I will do, I will create a two workspace. Okay, so I will create a, just assume this is one workspace, this is one project like a API workspace 7. If I click on this workspace, all the API workspace 7 project details should be available. Okay, this works in this workspace, all the details is meant for this project. Okay, so all the details should be available with respect to this project. So if I click on another workspace like rest assured 8 a.m. batch, all the details with respect to this project will be available. Okay, so means if I'm opening this workspace, and if I'm clicking here the details, I should be able to see all the details regarding this project. So maintaining a different workspace to handle the different project. Okay, so you guys also have to create one workspace. Okay, you have to create one workspace. In that workspace, you have to handle all your project info. Okay, so if you click on here workspaces, if you click on a create workspace, if you already have some workspace, you can search here. If you want to create it freshly, click on a create workspace, provide the name of the workspace. I will provide it like 8 a.m. API testing. Okay, here give the description about the project. Okay, you can give the if it is if we are working with a project, means here we will give the complete uh, description about the project. Okay, so yeah, this is the project, this is what we are doing, this is the service we are calling, these are all the modules that we are working, all the info, brief description summary about the workspace we are giving. Okay, and visibility. Okay, this is the visibility, means who can access this workspace. If it is a personal, means only you can access. If it is a private, means only team member who can have access can access. Okay, so for team means all the team members can access. If it is a partner, means only invited partner and team members can access. If it is a public, means everyone can view it. Overall searching, everyone can view it. Okay, so it is just like a visibility. Okay, whichever you guys want, you can select. So I will select a personal, click on create workspace. See, the workspace is created now. Okay. Okay, so here inside the workspace, just observe what are the options available. we have our collections, we have our environments, we have our history. If you click here, you have a multiple options you have. See, the UI has been changed with respect to Postman tool. Okay, so before there was no option like this. Okay, means here how they are implemented in recent days is, if you want this option here in the tab, you can select it, it will come here. But before it was available, every option is available in the sidebar. Okay, so now they're not keeping a mock server. I want mock server, I will keep it. See, the mock server as attached here. Okay, and I don't want this history. I will remove this and it will go from there. See there, it is going. Okay, yeah, it's good implementation, right? Before it was not there. Okay, yeah. So if you can see here the workspace setting. Okay, so in that workspace setting, it is giving us, yeah, visibility is personal. Okay, if you click here, you have a option to change it. Okay, you have an option to change it to team or public. Okay, and if you come down, these are all the sidebar option available. What are all the option you want to work with, you can select and keep it is here, or else you can deselect it, no problem. Okay, and okay, if you don't want to have the current workspace, if you want to delete the workspace, you can delete it here. Okay, so this is just a setting of the workspace. Okay, so here you have a collection, here you have a environment, here you have a mock server. Okay, and if you can see here this environment quick lookup. Okay, so if you can see here, here we have a environment, here we have a global environment. Okay, so like it's kind of local variable declaration, global variable declaration. Okay, so then if you can see here, use variable to reuse values and protect sensitive data. Okay, so how we can protect the sensitive data, how we can reuse the variable by declaring in the global variable and in the environmental variable, we'll see in the coming session. Okay, just understand the tool for today. Okay, so here we have a multiple option to mask the sensitive information while we are declaring in the global variable or in the local variable, and how we can make use of whatever the variable we declared in the global variable or environmental variable, or we can make use in the each and every test cases. Okay, or we can reuse it. Okay, so that we will be discussing in the further sessions. Okay, so now here we have a option to create a multiple environments. Okay, so multiple environments means, obviously being a test engineer, we will not work with only one testing environment, right? So we will be working with a multiple testing environment if you are involved like a end to end. Okay, if you take my case, I will work with a testing environment, I will work with a UAT environment, I will work with a uh, you know pre-prod also, and I will work with a production also. Okay, so multiple environments I will be traversing. Okay, so in that case, how to create a multiple environment, how to check the behavior of the services in the multiple environments. Okay, will be discussed in the environment session. Okay, when it comes to collection, okay, why this collection option is required, what is the use of collection option here. Okay, so how to create a new collection. After creating a new collection, okay, these are all the options we have. We have a authorization, we have a prerequisite script, we have a test, we have a variables, we have a runs. Okay, and so on. Okay, here also we have a run button, and here we have a export button, manage roles, view change log, create a fork, move, so on. Okay, so now the question is, why this collection functionality or module or resource with respect to API terminology. Okay, so why this collection is available here, what is the use of this collection. Okay, how we are working with the collection, and what if this collection is not there. Okay, what happens. What is the advantage, what is the disadvantage. Okay, so that we will be learning. Then okay, so whenever we have obviously you guys know that, right? When you're working with a manual testing or selenium automation, all those things, we will be having a regression suit maintain or smoke suit maintain, all those things we have, right? Okay, so with respect to API testing, how we can maintain the regression suit here, how we can maintain the smoke suit here. Okay, how to handle the regression suit, how to handle the smoke suit. For example, maybe we have a list of requests, maybe around 50, just 50 I'm taking. Okay, 50 requests is there. It's not possible to at the end of the release sit and execute one by one 50 requests. We have to execute it bunch, right? We have to execute it at all the requests at a time. So how can we achieve that? How can we do that? Okay, so how can we do that in order to get the result of it? Okay, so how we can achieve with respect to collection, we'll be seeing that. All those things will be achieved by the help of the collection only. So how we can do that, we'll be discussing. Okay, and environment. As I already mentioned, we will be not working with a single environment. We'll be working with a
Hello.
multiple environment. Yes,
What is the definition of collection?
yes, that I will tell. Okay. Hmm. So, so environments now. Okay. So, what is the multiple environments we will be working. Okay. So, being a test engineer, we'll be working with the testing environment. We'll be working with the UAT environment, or we'll be working with the pre-production environment. We'll be working with the production environment. Okay. So, how can we manage different environments, and how can we check the behavior of the service with different environments? We'll be discussing in the coming session. Okay, then what is this mock server? Okay, so why this mock server is required? So mock server is nothing but dummy server. As the name suggests, it's a dummy server. Okay, so how can we make use of this dummy server? In which scenario we have to make use of this dummy server? Basically, why it is required? Okay, in the real time, how we are using this mock server? Okay, so anybody have an idea why to use the mock server? Hmm?
So it's like at the time of or at the phase of development, we don't have enough data or like real-time data, but we
Okay.
have to test with the available APIs. So we need to test on, I mean, based on some, we need some data to test for the API. So for that, we used to create mock data, and with the help of that mock data, we used to test the API.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
demo purpose. We saw only demo purpose only. If we are not complete project, so to
Okay.
all senior person.
Okay. Okay. So
Is
mock server is,
is
yeah.
the accepting the request and the responding the server.
Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. Yeah. Thanks for the answer. Okay. So, for example, consider the scenario. Okay. Maybe there's a new project is coming. Okay. So once the new project they are taking. So before taking the project, what we will do? We have a discussion, right? So our project manager will have a discussion with the development team, and also testing team. Okay. So both the engineers are available in the meeting, and they will just discuss about the requirement. Okay, so what happens with respect to development, how the mock server is useful? Okay, okay, project manager has given complete information about the project. Okay, developer is also understood that, and also test engineers is also understood that. So developer, after understanding the requirement, developers has to start implementing the service. In the meanwhile, test engineers has to start writing the test cases. Okay, So what happens here? Developers is not jumping directly into a creation of the actual service. So what they will do, they will make use of this mock server. Okay, they will create a dummy server. Okay, and they will give a idea, like just for example I will show you. So according to that, what they will do, they will create a one mock server. And after creating the mock server, so what they will do, so they will create a request like this. Okay, this is what the mock server they created, and they will just give a demo. Okay, this is what mock server created, this is how endpoint we are providing for the particular resource. Okay, so this is all the information I am passing. So once after clicking on the get request, this is how message we are planning to display. This is how the status code look like, and we are planning to how get this response within this time limit. Okay, so on. So and also, see, after successful response, after successful request, so the response whatever we are receiving is also be defined by the developer. Okay, means in the response body part, if he is just given a message to be displayed, it will just provide us the message. Or else if he has given a complete info about the response, I mean to say, okay, the message is displayed, and also who has created this request, who has executed, at what time executed, and other information about the service. If he is capturing that info, and if he is if he's written the backend code in such a way that in the response body all that info has to be displayed, yes, all that info will be displayed. So what he will do before implementing the actual service. Okay, so he will just make use of a mock server, and he will give a demo kind of thing. So this is how I am trying to implement, and this is how successful response info I'm trying to display. Okay, we'll just demonstrate it. So when he is demonstrating it, okay, so you know, being a test engineer, okay, we also have a chance to give a idea. So maybe one of your test lead or one of the test engineer is giving an idea like, okay, this is fine, but it's better to have a at what time the exact service is executed. Executed time, if we have means it's better to track the log. It's executed time and executed by, because there may be a chance that maybe one of your colleague is executed, and if he has done some mistake, if it is not capturing who has executed that particular request, then it's completely comes to the entire team, right? So maybe someone of you is giving idea that no, yes, okay, so I think message displaying is fine. Along with that, at what time it's executed, and who has executed, if you display this info is also it well and good. Just is giving an idea. And maybe other some manager or a client, okay, they will also providing some idea. So this is helpful since he has not implemented actual service. This is just a dummy service he has created to demonstrate this is how he is going to implement a actual service. So then, okay, he's taking all the input, and again he is modifying with respect to the response info. Okay, so then okay, he's telling that okay, anyhow, okay, this is a header one. Mm, okay, so maybe like this in the backend code is handling. So what he will do, okay, I will just display some info. Okay, okay, another info according to your input, I will display some info. Okay, so again whenever he is executing, maybe along with that he is getting some other response. Okay, so like this, before implementing the actual service, okay, to get to know how the service will look like, how service will respond, how how we are trying to capture the info, what are the information is coming, so that how we can chain this service to another request. Okay, to discuss all those things we need a mock server. Okay, so developers will also look into the requirement specification, will start implementing like this dummy thing. And also test engineers also, you will also be knowing the requirement at the same time, So we'll also create a mock server, and we will start writing the test cases. Okay, maybe in the like say suppose this is just assume this is in a mock server which has been developed by the developer. By assuming this mock server, tester don't want to waste their time when developers are involved in the actual service implementation. Okay, so within that time when developers are spending their time to implement the actual service, so during that time, testers also be involved in that process. How they have involved? They don't want to waste their time. After getting a actual service, if they start by the time to start the writing the test cases means it's just a time waste process, right? When they are involved in the development, okay, parallelly test engineers also involved in writing the test cases. At least, maximum whatever possible test cases are there, at least they have to be ready with those test cases. Okay, maybe by looking into this dummy, mock server, they're thinking that okay, so in this means in the response body, okay, they're planning to print a two parameter, like one is message and one is something. Okay, okay. So how we can validate? One is checking the status code test case. One is checking the time test case. One is checking the response header test case, content type test case, and one is checking the response body, and another one is in the response body also whether it contains the two parameter or one parameter, whether it contains the message alone or whether it contains the other information also or not, and in the message whether it is displaying the same message or not, and in the maybe it's a executed by maybe, so is it displaying the correct username here or not, like this multiple tests. And also after traversing inside the response body, further things, what are the with respect to the service, what are the content they are displaying, regarding them they will be writing the test cases. Okay, multiple test cases we have to write. So if we are ready with at least a minimum test cases, once actual service comes, maybe we will get a much time to think about a out of the box. Okay, because we have already have a basic minimal test cases, basic check what we can do with respect to one service. We are ready with that. Okay, so when actual service comes, based upon the work that it is performing, we can include some more test cases. So like we are you know so that we will get a much time to test it thoroughly and rigorously. Okay, so being a testing engineer, this is our job, right? We have to test any of the requirement or any of the service thoroughly and rigorously. Okay, so rigorously and thoroughly in the sense we have to cover both the positive and negative scenario thoroughly. Okay, so when we will get a much time, much ideas will come. So this is how mock server is useful in real time. Okay, so we'll also be using to perform some scenarios. Actually, if we sit and if we if we sit and if we go on search with a particular API which is handling those scenario, it's simply a time wasting process. So what we can do in those scenarios, and some scenarios we have like headers handling, all those concepts. Okay, so we will also create a mock server here, and we will try to handle with this concept. Okay, so this is how mock server is useful. Okay, yeah. And again, we have a authorization here. So we have a list of type here. We have a API key, we have a barrier token, we have a JWT barrier, we have a basic auth, we have a digest auth, we have a auth1, auth2, so on. Okay, so what are all the API authorization we will be using, what are the types of authentication we'll be using, and how we can use different types, all those things will be discussed while we are working actually. Okay, so and your address information, what are the request info you are sending along with the service, what are the requests you are providing it here, it is also going along with the service. Okay, so this is going along with the service, and according to this info it is giving us back the response. And here body, if you want to create the data inside the server, we have a multiple types, not only a single type, we have a multiple types. Okay, we have a form data way of creating the body, we have a URL encoded format of creating the body, we have a raw format, we have a binary format, we have a GraphQL. So on we have, okay, according to which type of data we have and which type of we will have to work. That way we can choose and we can select, provide the info here. Something we have a pre-request script and test. As the name suggests, before sending the request to the server, okay, before clicking on the send button, if you want to handle something, if you want to pass some info to the server, so that has to be handled in the pre-request script. As the name suggests, pre-request script, okay, before requesting, writing some script here to send along with the request. So test is nothing but performing the validation on the response. Okay, so you send the request, you will get the response. So performing the validation on the response here. Okay, so how can we handle this test? How can we handle this pre-request script and the body, header, authorization? All the things we'll be learning in the further sessions. Okay, params is nothing but handling the query parameters. Okay, if you want to give some extra information to the resource, if there's some extra information about the resource, yes, you can handle through the query parameter. How we can handle all those things we'll be learning. Okay, okay, so this authorization pre-request script test, it is having an each and every level. I mean to say this is in a request level. Okay, if you go to the collection level, there also it is having the, this is the collection level. So here also we have a pre-request test variable runs and authorization. Okay, so how can we make use in the different level, how it is useful in the different levels we'll be learning. Okay, and if you go here, okay, let me see, if you go here, if you click on the run collection, we have a option to run at a time all the services that we have. Okay, so we can run at a time all the services. See how many iteration you want, you can keep it here. How many delay second if you want, you can provide it here. And here we have a data driven concept. Okay, if you have a file with the data, if you want to run that at a time, all the info which is available inside the data, inside the file, yes, you can perform the data driven testing here. Okay, so here you have a, you can select the different ways of running your collection. Run manually means we are just coming and this option and we are running manually here. Okay, schedule run, automate via CLI. These are all with respect to like CI bar CD tool with respect to Jenkins and all. Okay, so that is a different case. Okay, yeah. So all these options we will be having. Okay, see I have a different post, get, okay, put all those things. If you don't want to have some service, you can delete like this. Okay, you can deselect like this. If you want it to, how many iteration you want, how many times you want to run, so click on run. It will run at a time and it will give you the, it will give you the result. Okay, it's kind of a regression that you are performing on each and every services. Instead of going one by one, we are performing a regression. Here you have a complete report. You can export the report, you can run it again, you can view all the runs, info. Okay, basically what and all the things you can perform will be learning in the further sessions. Okay, so this is all about the tool info. Okay, Postman tool info, how we can handle. So we have seen different functionalities, but how we can handle all these different functionalities we'll be learning from Monday. Okay, so Monday is the last sorry, today is the last demonstration, guys. Since they have requested, some students have requested to conduct a demo today as well, so I have connected, they have started, and we are here today. Okay, so today is the last demo. On Monday, from Monday, please join with the new link. Okay, they will send you a lens road for them, they will send you the new link. Just have a look on your mails, they will send you the new link and the drive info. Okay, please join through that link from Monday. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Anything else before winding up the session?
Ma'am,
Hello, ma'am. Just wanted to request you to summarize about the mock server, purpose of the mock server once again.
Okay. Yeah. So mock server is nothing but like dummy server. Okay. Maybe once we got the requirement, we will be not having an actual requirement in our hand. Okay, because being a test engineer, we will be not having after requirement has been groomed by the POs or project managers. Immediately we will not get a service, right? Because developers will be involving in the development. So by the time what we can do, anyhow we will be knowing the requirement, right? We will be having a request specification with us. Okay, so all the request, whatever the requirement specification is provided by the POs, we will be having all the requirement specification. By looking into the requirement specification, we can create our mock server, and we can at least have some test cases ready. Once actual service comes, we can execute those test cases against that service. Okay, just to create an test cases when the actual service is not available, we can make use of it. With respect to QC, it will work like this. With respect to dev, before implementing the particular service, if they want to demonstrate how they are planning to implement according to the requirement that they have received from the project managers. Okay, so they will just demonstrate to client and entire team, like this is how the service looks like, this is how we are planning to implement, because they also don't want to waste their time after implementing actual service. If someone is coming and telling, like maybe your client or your lead is coming and telling, hey, what is this, like this it is providing the response. No, I don't want a response like this. I want a response to be have a this information, like that. If they are telling, means again it's a rework for the developer as well. Again it's a time wasting for us also, right?
Okay,
So they
got you.
don't want to. Yeah.
Yeah, that means like for developers, it's kind of like demonstrating, and
Yes.
for the testers, it's like, I mean, they in the early phase they will try to create the test cases.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And
Okay.
one more thing, ma'am. Actually, that's I have a lot of confusion. Like whenever people ask, like, what is actually Swagger?
Yeah. Okay. So Swagger is nothing but, guys, it's a document of the API. Okay, I meant to say, what I'm telling, like request. Sorry, what is that? Yeah, requirement specification. Okay, so Swagger is nothing but the document which contains complete info of your service. Okay, maybe say suppose you are working in an application like a yeah. Just take an example. You are working in an application. In this application, maybe they are using multiple services. Okay, so in this services, what are all the services they are using, what are all the data they are using, okay, how they want it to be, how we have to execute complete info about the API. So being a test engineer, we will be looking into the Swagger document and we will be validating that. Okay, so if you want to see the Swagger document, just give me a second. My screen is not visible for you all, right? It's a blank.
Yes, ma'am. Only your name is appearing.
Okay, from Outlang. So when I was explaining about the Postman tool and all, it was visible, right?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
It is showing your name has started sharing, but it's showing blank.
Okay, but when I was explaining about the postman tool, it was visible, all the smoke
Yes,
server.
ma'am. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
that's
Maybe possible that you not have shared your entire screen, and that particular screen which you have opened is not shared.
yeah. Now you guys are able to see the swagger, right?
No, ma'am, not still.
Oh, 1 second, guys. Then
It's
maybe.
blank.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. 1 second. It's a blank, blank, blank. Mhm. Entire screen. Okay, I'm choosing entire screen only. Why can't it be? Now,
Actually, it's like, I mean, for us, for a millisecond it appears, but and again it is getting disappeared.
oh, now.
No, no, ma'am.
Okay, wait.
Okay, ma'am, no issue. I mean, if you are able to share, that's okay. Or otherwise, I mean, verbally also, whatever you have communicated. Yeah, I'm able to see now.
Fine now.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is also a Swagger. Okay, this is also dummy API. They created a Swagger. Okay, so this is how the Swagger look like. Means complete info about your services. Like see here. Means your developer what they will do. Maybe just assume that this is your application. Pet store is your application name. Okay, what he will do? He will maintain complete info about that particular project services. Okay, so he will specify, yes, this is in a method, this is in a method, this is in a endpoint, and this is all the required info, this is all the info you need to provide in order to test this services and in order to test this endpoint. Okay, see wherever he has specified required, it must and should that we have to provide that info, otherwise it's not possible to test this particular service. So basically he will give complete info about the services. So by looking into the Swagger only, we have to, we have to check, okay, what he is expecting in the response. Okay, he's expecting in the response 200 status code, and this is how the response should look like. Okay, and he's using a content type. Okay, he's expecting us to make use of a content type to be application/json. Okay, then if you come down, so here is expecting us to provide the body information, and this is how the body information. Content type we have to set to JSON, and is expecting successful status code is a 201, and if something invalid means 405 is the status code. Okay, and this is the what the endpoint we have to use for the updation. Slash pet is the endpoint. Okay, if you click on try it out. Okay, see here, click on execute. Okay, see here, this is the curl information. So this is what the complete URL, this is what the base URL till this
Okay,
is
ma'am.
what.
This curl we can directly copy and import in Postman tool, right?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Ma'am,
Okay,
got it. Okay.
so here request URL and response info. So basically Swagger means what is the request we have to send, and how how developer implemented right in the backend, how we are expecting to be response to have. Okay, so if it is mismatching means again we need to inform back the developer saying this is something which is not working, you have to give a fix for this. Okay, so we'll be having a complete info in the Swagger. By looking into this only, developers has to start testing the services. Okay, so we'll be working all those things, don't worry.
Got it, ma'am. Thank you so much for explaining.
Yeah.
And one more small question I have.
Okay.
Actually, in a recent interview, I was asked a question that using get method, can we place, I mean, can we create a resource or not?
Mm-hmm. Okay, what you have answered?
Actually, I answered that get method is just for reading the resource and for creating it is post actually, and put is actually for updating. But using put also, if the resource is not available, it will create a new resource.
So what was the interviewer response for that?
I mean, he didn't say much more, but somewhere I got a doubt. Like, I mean, it whatever I said is might be partially true, but there might be some other cases also, but I'm not sure.
Okay, okay. So usually, in the interviews, what they will do, this is how they will ask the question.
Ma'am,
Okay. Yes.
this answer is according to developer we will do or what? This answer.
Yes. So usually, yeah, so we know that we have a multiple, HTTP methods, right? We have a get method, post method, put method, delete method. Okay. So get is only meant for the retrieving the data. Okay. Get is only meant for the retrieving the data. So post and put is for, creating the data and updating the data. Okay, so post is meant for creating the data, put is meant for updating the data. So what they will ask the question, can we create a data, or can we create the data inside the server by using a put method? But we have understood that put method means only updation of the data. We are not going to create anything. Already some data is available. If we want to perform updation over that data, we are using it. But it's kind of a tricky question. So we have to answer it smartly. How we have to answer for this kind of question? So we have to tell them the actual info, as well as we have to also inform them saying, yes, put is usually used to update the data. So, which has been defined in the document also, the put is used to only updation of the data inside the service or inside the resource. But it's also maybe possible that if developer has implemented in the backend in such a way that put method to handle the creation of the data, if they have provided those info in the swagger document, yes, we can create the data. Okay, so which means that you have to inform them exact info, as well as there may be chances like this also. What if, if developers has implemented in the backend, maybe he has called put method for the creation of the data, that we will be, can't, even though, if the developer is handled in that way, obviously my application will support with the put method also for the creation of the data. Okay, so we have to inform them actual info. In generally speaking, generally, if we want to technically, if we want to speak, means put is meant for updation only. But there may be a case, it may be possible, it may be a chance, if developer has implemented in the backend put method to handle the creation of the data, yes, we can use that based upon the developer info in the swagger document. Okay, in get also you can tell, like, usually if you want to speak technically, get is used to retrieve the data. But there may be a chances, if developer has implemented in such a way, and if he specified in the swagger, yes, okay, maybe there may be a chance it may support for that operation. But I think that is not a proper way of handling. If it is a get means that is just a and just retrieving of a info.
Okay.
Just like
So
this contradiction answer you have to provide. Okay.
it means like, I mean, if the special implementation has been done by the developer, then there's chance that we can, I
Yeah.
mean, even create data using Git. But usually it is not actually the actual way.
Actual way, yeah, okay. But that is not recommended also. But
Hmm.
to make you guys to confuse how you will answer for this, for this kind of question, to check your knowledge, they will make you confused like this. Always with a get, put, patch, post. Because if you can see in the API testing interviews, I'm just telling you guys, okay, believe me, it will be very easy if you learn this. Okay, so they want to have some tricky question by making like this, right? So they will create the questions like this. Okay, so basically if you learn means it's very easy than I know, as per my knowledge, than the selenium and all, it is very easy.
Also,
Mhm.
ma'am, one more thing. I worked on a project for short time. Actually, it was based on I'm not able to remember the exact API. What was that? Actually, Facebook has implemented that. And I forgot that term.
Mhm.
So, I mean, there I was working on JMeter. So, like, I mean, there was
Madhu,
only
your voice is yeah, we can speak. Yeah, tell me.
so it was like there were only two options for me, like get or post. So using post only, I was able to update also.
Yes, yes, yeah. That is what, Madhu. Like, how developer has been handled in the back end, that is how the service works. Okay. So it's all in the hand of a developer, like in the back end, how they are handling it. So that is the way. Maybe, or maybe they are declared only one post method and they've handled multiple condition inside that method. Okay. If it is a updation means obviously you need to pass some unique info, right? For example, ID you need to pass or some other unique information it has to pass, right?
Okay, got it, ma'am.
So if
Actually,
you're sending a post request with a unique information, maybe the particular condition is matching with the same method and it is taking the same method. So like that, in a single method only they have handled all the condition. So basically like it's completely depend on how they have implemented in the backend. Okay.
okay, ma'am, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, guys, that's for today. Okay, so we'll be starting with the postman from Monday. Okay, that's what from my side. Nothing. Actual sessions will be starting from Monday. Please join with the link that they will be sending through your mail. Overall enroll for them, they will send you the separate link. Don't join with this. Don't get confused. And keep a eye on your mail ID. So they will send you the link and also the drive info. Just okay, join with the same timing on
Hello,
Monday.
ma'am.
Yes.
In last, only one more question. It's related to session only, ma'am. So you are going to cover with HTTP and HTTPS both protocol or only one protocol?
Yes, yeah, like I'm going to cover like Postman APIs and other APIs will be taking HTTP method. If I get a service in that covering that protocol, we'll work on that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello, ma'am.
So Dushmant, I will speak you offline. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. Anything else, guys, before winding up the session? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay then. Have a great day. Bye bye. Take care.